Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. A lot of people have so many questions about Hexa stat. So this video, you're going to learn exactly what Hexa stat is, why is it important, how to most effectively utilize it. There's a sunny Sunday this coming weekend as well for Hexa stat. What does that mean? What should you do? What do you do with your fragments? Everything will be in this video. And of course, if this video helps you out, make sure to subscribe, pull up to the Twitch channel so you can enjoy the game with me live and ask me whatever you want. And of course, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. All right, so when you open your Hexa matrix, you have your Hexa skill tab where all of your skills are, and you have your Hexa stat tab. So basically, to keep it super simple, what Hexa stat does is it gives you a bunch of passive stats that make you stronger. And you need a lot of fragments that you get from training to be able to upgrade this. So it's kind of like hyper stats, but even more. Like it's like better hyper stats kind of, but based off of fragments instead of leveling up. So I have my Lara here who has no Hexa, right? So this is a brand new character that I could show you how to do this on. And if you want to unlock Hexa stat 1, you just press activate node and it costs 5 soul urda and 10 fragments. If you want to unlock Hexa stat 2 though, you can see it says you need level 265 and at least level 20 plus stat node from Hexastat 1. So basically you have to max out Hexastat 1 before you can unlock Hexastat 2. So a lot of people are like really like stressed out with like Hexastat 2, like how do I get it, this and that, but in fact they're new players and they don't even have Hexastat 1 maxed out. So just to be clear, like you need to max out Hexastat 1 first before you even start doing Hexastat 2. And Hexastat 2 is just even more bonus stats, just like Hexastat 1. But with that being said, let's show you how it works. So when should you even start doing your Hexa stat, right? Wouldn't I want to put my fragments into my skills? Not necessarily. So for example, I have here from the Lara Discord, and I'm pretty sure every Discord has one of these. There's an infographic, and the infographic tells you like the optimal path to upgrading your Hexa and where to put all your fragments. And you can see here that for the vast majority of classes, pretty much every single class, you do your Hexa stat very early into your Hexa progression because it gives you a lot of damage for how many frags you put into it. So on Lara, for example, I would have gotten it after my masteries. So I should already have it by now. I didn't follow this because I want to make a video about it. So let's activate it, right? And now you get to choose 3 stats that you want for your Hexa. You get to choose a main stat and 2 bonus additional stats. And how this works is the main stat, let's say I choose boss damage, for example, and I choose crit damage and I choose magic attack. Now this is not what you would exactly want necessarily. Don't just blindly copy this. You want to figure out what you want from your class infographic. So for example, on Lara, it says the bottom here, I would want magic attack, int, and crit damage. So I would put magic attack, int, and crit damage, right? That's what I would want. And now it actually doesn't even matter the order because you could switch the order whenever you want. So as long as you have the correct 3, you're good. But you could always switch it to whatever you want anytime. So it's not like a big deal, but you might as well put the correct ones at first. So I'm going to press activate and it's going to unlock it. Boom. So now successfully activated stat node 1. And now it says 0 out of 20. Now you can see that the main stat says +0, int +0, and critical damage +0. Now, every time I press enhance, you can press enhance 20 times total. And each time you enhance costs soul urda fragments until it's maxed out. And there is a % chance for these to go up. So for example, if I press enhance, that means there's a 35% chance that the top one goes up 1 level, and then the 32.5 for int to go up 1 level and crit damage to go up 1 level. And only one of them goes up per enhance, so it's like an RNG system. Now, if you remember, like I just said, it could only go up a total of 20 times. That means you could get a bunch of different configurations. And as one gets higher and higher, the chance of it to keep succeeding gets lower and lower. Also, what's very unique about the main stat at the top is the effect gets doubled. So for example, if this were to go up, right, magic attack, because it's in the main stat, the amount of magic attack I get is a lot higher than if it were in the additional stats. So you always want the main stat one to go up as much as possible because whatever is at the top here gets the biggest buff from the level. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't really matter if this is magic attack and crit damage boss. It doesn't matter because you could just change it. You can press change stats here. You can change it to whatever you want. You pay 100 million mesos and then you're good to go. What really matters, what you're looking for, is the levels themselves, not necessarily what stats you're getting, but you want to make sure that the top one is as high level as possible. Now, what if you get unlucky, right? There's a total of 20. So let's say you get like 4 at the top, 8 here, which is the worst possible roll because 4 plus 8 8 plus 8 is 20. It's not that big of a deal. So if you look at this chart here, this chart shows you how much final damage you get on average based off of every single combination. So like I just mentioned, 488, each one of these combinations adds up to 20, right? And it tells you the odds of hitting every single one. 488 is the worst one, and you get about 3 final damage. But the best possible roll you could get, 10-10-0, which gives you 4.7 final damage, basically impossible to hit, is not that much higher. So you go from 3% FD to 4.7% FD, from worst to highest. So this is not something that you should really stress out over. The whole point I'm trying to say is you literally just have to press this button 20 times until it's 20 out of 20, and that's it. The only time when you min-max and you press this reset button here to start it all over again and try to get a higher main stat at the top is when you are endgame, when you have finished everything. All of your Hexa skills are completely maxed out. Your Hexa 1, Hexa 2 are completely maxed out, and you have like such a crazy abundance of fragments. Sure, you could do it. But for the vast majority of people watching this video, 99+% of you, just press this button 20 times, and whatever you get is whatever you get, and you'll be good. Because you're very likely to not hit the worst one, and you're very likely to not hit the best one. You're probably gonna land somewhere in the middle, and the difference between the stuff in the middle and the stuff at the top is not that big of a deal. So I would really advise you guys to just press this 20 times and then just use the rest of your fragments on your skills until all of your skills are maxed out. Now, the next thing that I want to tell you guys is on December 22nd, this weekend, there's a sunny Sunday that says Hexa Matrix when main stats are level 5 plus receive a 20% main stat increase enhancement. So what does this actually mean, right? So what this means is if your top one, the main stat is already at 5, right? If it's already at 5, if you were to further enhance it, the chance for the top one to go up is 20% more. It's not 20% additive, so it doesn't go from like 35 to 50%, for example, like that's, or 55%, that's a little too much. What a lot of people are doing, particularly late to endgame players, is they are waiting for this event to roll their stuff. But again, for the vast majority of people, I don't think it's necessarily worth waiting for this event. If you're watching this at some time in the future and you're like, oh, I don't want to do my Hexa stat until this event comes, no, it's not a big deal. I would just do it 20 times and then worry about it once you're in the end game. It's a really min-max thing. It's not something that like you really need to worry about. So all of those disclaimers and information out of the way, let's see what happens when we press enhance. So it costs 10 fragments. Let's press enhance. Boom. So the bottom one went up, right? So because the bottom one went up, I'm at 001 and I'm at 1 out of 20. That's not ideal. I would always want the top one to go up. So let's press enhance again and see what happens. Bottom went up again. So I'm getting kind of screwed over here. Let's press enhance. Top one went up, which is exactly what we want. So it says magic attack +5, right? And now the odds are still the same. And the frag cost is still the same, but the frag cost will keep going up and up and up every time I enhance. Bottom up went up again. So if I press enhance, still costs 10. Boom, top one went up, which is really good. Press it again. Boom, top one went up, so it's at 3. So right now I'm at 303. I could still press enhance 14 more times, but look, it costs 20 fragments now instead of 10. So the cost gets higher and higher and higher. And generally it costs like a few hundred fragments to max it out. So this is something that you're going to keep working on over time, but this does make you quite a bit stronger, and it is worth investing in early over your Hexa skills if you're looking for damage. Now, let's say I really like this and I want to reset it, but I don't want to necessarily lose this, right? So you can reset it without losing what you have. There's actually a save slot that you can use, but you have to get to level 10. So once I'm at level 10, I could actually press this and then press save, and then I could re-roll it, like reset it completely, and you could start all over again. So you don't even have to risk losing anything in the first place, but that's how it works. So let's say I want the int instead of the crit damage, right? So I could swap the stats around. I could put this here and then crit damage here and then change. Boom. So now I get 300 int instead of the crit damage. So you could swap the stuff around anytime you want. And look, you can even notice now that I have 6 out of 20, the rates have decreased. So the top one going up is now only a 20% chance of increasing, whereas it was a 35% chance before. So this is what I mean by you can save it. So like I have this one here, right? I have 839 on my main for my Hexa stat 1. And then I have this second tab here. And if I press apply, then I would just switch to this one. And then I could re-roll this one. And I have nothing to fear because it's saved here anyways. And then for Hexa stat 2, what I did is I got it to 5 at the top, right? Because the event the 20% increase, it starts at level 5. So I just kept pressing enhance until this top one reached 5, and then I'm just gonna wait for the sunny Sunday. So that's what a lot of people are doing with their Hexa stat too. But again, if you're a new player, like, you don't really have to worry about this that much. Just worry about maxing out your Hexa stat 1, and then once Hexa stat 2 you can unlock it, you can start doing it. Keep in mind the Hexa stat 2 costs a lot just to unlock. If you remember Hexa stat 1, it was like 5 soul urda and like 10 frags or something. But with this one, with Hexa stat 2, it costs 200 soul urda fragments and 10 soul urda just to unlock it, and then you need to max it out again. So Hexa stat 2 is pretty expensive, especially when you're new. Like, you wouldn't necessarily want to invest that many frags into it right away. And then there's going to be more and more Hexa stats that keep coming out in the further patches, and it's just going to be the same thing, where you just need to save a bunch of fragments, a bunch of soul urda, and just unlock and press the button 20 times. So hopefully this video made sense and you guys understand Hexa stat a little bit more. Long story short, get a bunch of fragments, press the enhance button, check your class Discord infographic so you know which stats you need, and get to farming. Get to farming, because you need to farm a lot to get all the fragments for this. Anyways, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment. Pull up to the Twitch so we have a bunch of fun together live. And with that all being said, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much to my members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Piconir, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, J, Blunt Poppy Supreme Oil Backwards, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Assassin, and Migu. I appreciate you guys so much, and shout out to everyone who submitted fan art. If you always want to submit fan art, it's in the Discord linked below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.